is easy to harbor a lot of resentment towards a lot of streaming platforms that don't really treat their artists with the highest amount of respect, or various platforms that don't necessarily allow the same monetary value put on their artists that they necessarily deserve, or alternatively, they sap the creative liberties from them or try to dictate what they do. And so it can be easy, especially in a genre like heavy metal, which is notorious for trying to build up and put on a pedestal the artists and be very niche and be very DIY and support the artists that you enjoy. A lot of times you want to buy directly from them. It can kind of become easy to look at any metal label and say that you shouldn't necessarily support them because they are automatically going to be bad or not give the artist what they like. And I wanted to come on here and say that while it is very good to always go on places like Bandcamp or websites from a band and purchase directly from them because you know it is going to go directly to them, I don't think that you should ever misconstrue metal labels as automatically being bad or not being as good as the DIY stuff that it can encompass, because metal labels are pretty good at letting people do what they want, and it depends on which one you're talking about. And if you're talking about metal bands that get signed to really huge mainstream labels like Sony, for example, I think that there is much more of an argument to be made about being creatively restricted and constrained in the creative liberties that you have. But when you look at labels like Metal Blade Records, Season of Mist, Profound Lore, they're definitely in it monetarily. They're a business, they're a company, they're a label, they're trying to make money for themselves. But by the same token, these are run by people who love metal music. Most of the time, metal labels are run by people that adore metal music. They're coming from a DIY thing because there was a time when these labels were not the big labels that they are. The Nuclear Blast, the Relapse Records, Earache, these sort of things. And some labels have certainly maintained their undergroundness better than others. I would say Relapse Records, Profound Lore, Season of Mist, as well as Earache have done really good jobs of kind of sticking true to their formula without really sacrificing the ability to make money for themselves and put these bands on a bigger platform so they can reach new audiences. So there is a tier and echelon to this thing. But I was watching an interview recently with Connie Scarbosa of See Space Cowboy, and she was talking about how like they're signed to Pure Noise Records, and they're a very like hardcore punk inspired DIY band, or at least they were in their roots. And so the interviewer was asking, do they kind of let you do what you want? What was it like being signed to a major label or a fairly big label as a band that is coming from this DIY aesthetic? And she said, they're awesome. They let them do exactly what they want. And it kind of comes down to the artist putting down their foot and setting a boundary that if they are going to sign to something, if a label is coming to them wanting them on their roster, that they should be able to have the creative liberty to make the music that they want. And you can compromise, you can meet a middle ground, you can take criticism, you can take suggestions, but at the end of the day, a label should not be pushing you around or trying to change the very identity of your band, because the very reason that they're signing a band is because they see promise in them. And if they directly influence a band rapidly changing their identity, they're sacrificing the very thing that probably made people like that band in the first place and made them want to sign them in the first place because of their audience and because of the promise that they saw in them. But metal labels deserve support. It isn't just underground labels, it isn't just DIY labels. The bigger metal labels are doing work. I'm coming from the position of a YouTuber and a metal person who has talked to a lot of PR people, who has talked to a lot of people who distribute and work for Metal Blade Records, Profound Lore, Season of Mist, as well as more underground ones like Horror Pain Deathcore Productions and Hypnotic Dirge Records. And these people are very serious about what they do and platforming these bands. And are these bands getting 100% of the revenue? No, it's a job. It is the thing that they are working, and most of the time these people have other jobs anyway, depending on the size of the band. But you shouldn't like outcast or say that bigger metal labels are automatically making these bands sell out, or that because these bands want to have a bigger platform and be on these labels they're selling out, because I don't think that getting signed to Metal Blade Records or Profound Lore is the same as getting signed to Sony. There's a massive difference in that. Metal mainstream versus real mainstream is a very different argument, and at the end of the day, I don't think it is a very nice thing to say that a band sells out when you don't know what's going on behind the scenes or what creative differences they have or what they want. I think it can be a very destructive and toxic mentality for fans to sort of project that and assume that they know what's going on behind the scenes with a band. And if a band that you like suddenly gets signed to one of these more well-established metal labels, don't automatically cast judgment on them or say that like they're selling out or they're not as good. You can criticize their music music, and if it gets worse, you know, that's fine, I understand that, but you don't necessarily know what's going on. Don't automatically blame the label, and don't automatically blame the band. You're only hurting them in the long term, and no one has a gun to your head to listen to something. You can freely criticize something and judge something, but going out of your way to just completely demolish something for this reason, I personally think is kind of silly. What are you guys' opinions of this topic? You can let me know down in the comment section below. I can't wait to hear it. Agree or disagree, there is no wrong answer. Be sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to join the review family today, and smash that notification bell to be notified of my future uploads. You know who it is, my name is Jay Morris, and I'm signing off saying farewell.